fishing news is brought to you by Navionics, Okuma, Yozuri, Evinrude, Lama Glass, and the Star Island Yacht Club in Montauk, New York. The October edition of The Fisherman is on newsstands now for those of you that don't have a subscription. When you do subscribe to The Fisherman magazine, you get 38 issues and you're part of the Dream Boat contest. That's a bargain for less than $30 a year. Check out Fred Golofaro's great read on casting for striped bass, and Captain John Raguzzo has an informative article on wreck fishing. This is just some of the great content in the current issue of The Fisherman magazine. Now let's check in with News 12 meteorologist Rich Von Olin for this weekend's weather.
Thanks, Tim. Hey, meteorologist Rich Von Olin here, News 12 Long Island Weather Center. First weekend of October. Let's check the forecast, see how we're doing, and we'll zoom into the trusty weather computer. This is the wave height forecast for Saturday, early in the morning. 2 to 4, pretty good chop coming in, 1 to 2 in the Sound. Offshore south of Montauk, the canyon's going to be a little bit rough, a little east-northeasterly breeze. Saturday afternoon, a little better, probably the best window you got there. And then Sunday, we start to raise the seas, 3 to 5, 5 to 9. It's going to be a pretty hard southerly breeze coming in, so I think a little better on Saturday. We start out with a northeast breeze, maybe 15 to 20, going 10 to 15, and a little less towards the afternoon Saturday evening. You get a southeast breeze. And then Sunday, some more clouds coming in. We start to get a hard southerly about 10 to 20. It's going to really chop things up quite a bit. So looks like later Sunday afternoon, not so nice. Cool on Saturday, about 60. And then we get some 70s going into the day on Sunday. It'll be the warmer day, but also the windier day. So it looks like a 50-50 week, and I think the pick would be Saturday, a little bit better. But overall, fall season's here. Enjoy. Happy angling. Meteorologist Rich Von Olin here, News 12 Long Island Weather Center. Tim?
Be sure to check out News 12 for the latest weather before heading out. Now let's check in with Fred Golofaro with the Montauk Report.
Hi, Tim. Yeah, and out in Montauk, fluke season's now a thing of the past, but it'll probably best be remembered for at least the last month or two of the season for the quality of the fish being caught. And it ended on that note. There was a 15.5 pounder caught on the last day of the season on Monday by Frank DeFede of Bellport. He waited at Montauk Marine Basin, and again, just an impressive number of big fish this past season. Lots of bass in the rips and on the south side of the point. I'm getting all kinds of reports of guys, bucktailing and jigging fish. The Lazy Bones had a bunch of fish on Tuesday, but whereas it was all those little schoolies, now there's some nicer fish mixing in, some fish in the teens and 20s, some bigger fish caught on eels at night, but the daytime fishing is now seeing a mix of some of those bigger fish along with all the schoolies. There's also plenty of bluefish on some days. The albies are bouncing around also anywhere from the inlet to the lighthouse and even down along the south side. So lots of life in Montauk as far as the bass fishing goes. Block's still holding strong for big fish, Southwest Ledge in particular. And then you got the sea bass fishing and porgy fishing. That just keeps going on nonstop. Again, the best of that is probably over at Block. Guys are fishing the windmill areas and also Southwest Ledge, and some of the sea bass are pushing the 6-pound mark. So some real quality knotheads being caught out that way too. Offshore, really good sharking when guys can get out. There's been a lot of days with some lumpy seas, but there's been some good shark fishing, and you don't have to go far. And a surprising number of swordfish coming in from the canyons when guys can make it out there, along with yellowfin, tuna, and some big eyes. Again, things looking good in Montauk. Just a matter of catching the weather right. If you can make it out there, do it. And back to you, Tim.
Paul McCain was out in Montauk and had this to report.
Hello, everybody. Here I am out in beautiful Montauk. I'm here on the Casstoberfest, put out by Captain Tim O'Rourke, and also by the Farbanks rep, Bill Dawson. And it has been a phenomenal weekend. On Sunday, everybody was coming back. All the captains were coming back about how great the fishing was, blitzes. It was just a terrific day. Monday, a lot of wind, so a lot of them didn't get out. But anyway, on the freshwater scene, the cadet squad is still fishing well. Casting for Recovery had their retreat last week. It was a terrific weekend. The ladies all had, everyone had fish. They all had a lot of smiles. Elwood Flies Bill, he's been fishing. He went up to the Caleb Smith Park and he actually did very well. It was just a really terrific week.
Now let's check in with Mike Dean from Shinnecock.
Thanks, Tim. We're getting some good fall run fishing going on here between Shinnecock and Moriches. Off the beach, stripers are getting a little bit bigger, starting to get up to 32 inches. I definitely think the new moon had something to do with it over the weekend. Had kind of rough surf, dirty water Saturday. They weren't biting as strong on Sunday with very calm surf. Seems to be the top of the tide is when they're really kind of active. Those troughs are filling in, and the fishing's been pretty good. Albies, not too exciting, but definitely around. Shinnecock Inlet, definitely has some life, just also casting from the jetty for albies, casting bucktails for bass, drifting the inlet. Seems like outgoing is a little bit better for the stripers. In the surf, I've been having really good luck on a 1 ounce bucktail. I've been using a teaser. You'll see the pictures up there. It seems that little bit of flash. I was using the Salvo Custom Lures bucktail. There's a little flash in it, and DAC flies out of Port Washington. For my teaser, you'll see that gold flash in it. Really not sure if it's just a sand eel imitation or maybe spearing profile, but it seems to be working pretty good. So this weekend it looks like the air temps are going to drop and should be some really good fishing coming up. So get out there, catch them up.
From the eastern Great South Bay, we have Kirk Fay.
Thanks, Tim. Hey, everybody. I've been fishing very local this past month, to be honest with you. The weather really hasn't given me many opportunities to get offshore. And the one thing that I am very grateful for is the weak fish. I'm sure most of you guys know, from Point O' Woods all the way back to where I live, which is Blue Point, which is about buoy 35. We've probably seen one of the best summer weak fish bites that most of us have ever seen. There are days where you're just not catching 1 or 2 fish. You're catching 40, 50 fish in a day. Some of these fish range from 15 inches up to 30 inches. Just on Tuesday, I had a really nice 5-pounder. My buddy had a 4-pounder. So there are some bigger fish mixed in with the smaller fish. It's very easy fishing. 3/8 to a 1/2 ounce jig head. And anything soft plastic wise, they're going to hit. They're feeding on peanut bunker, but they're also feeding on bay anchovies. So if you don't, if you want to run outside and you can't because the weather's got you inside, stay inside and enjoy this incredible weak fish bite for as long as it lasts. Hopefully it'll take us right up to when the stripers show up. And for now, just enjoy the bite.
Now let's check in with Captain Al Lorenzetti from the Great South Bay and Fire Island area.
Hey Tim, a little Fire Island report. Weak fishing still hot to the east in the bay on the north side, anywhere from Southold down to Bayport. Crazy action, crazy amount of fish. A lot of small stuff, but some nice stuff, 3 to 5 pounds, and even a bigger one mixed in between. And some tuna fish now, pretty close to the beach. At the weather buoy, they trolled up some bluefin tuna. You don't have to run all the way to the Coimbra and those other areas, but there's still fish there as well. And I think these tuna fish are going to show up really close to the beach real soon. Bass action, hot in Montauk now on Block Island. They're heading our way. I expect to see some fish here any day now around Fire Island. And I'm starting to book charters for this fall for the late October and through November. And that's about it, Tim. So looks like Saturday's going to be the day to fish. Friday and Sunday a little bit tough.
Bergen Bay Docks in West Babylon will be holding their 4th annual Shark and Striped Bass Tournament October 12th and 13th. The captain's meeting will be Friday the 11th. This is a great tournament, and Scott does a really great job. You got to check it out. If you're looking for a quality fishing boat, one that's affordable and great to fish off of, check out a Sea Pro powered by Suzuki from Kale's Family Boating Center in Lindenhurst. News 12 meteorologist Rich Von Olen took advantage of his forecast and was out last Saturday plugging schoolie bass along the marsh in Reynolds Channel. And Sunday, he picked away at some nice blowfish. Now let's check in with Joey Leggio from Atlantic Beach.
Hey Tim, what's going on? We're giving you a report from the boat today. Got my nephew Christopher Lucchese. He's been fishing with us a lot. Say what's up, Chris. What's up? Anyway, a report out of Deb's Inlet. Bay is still alive. Lots of stripers. We're just coming off the bridge now. We chummed them up. We had 17 stripers, 2 blues, 1 fluke, and a lot of sea bass. Real small sea bass, though, little guys. The other day I had out Sean and his friends and his little son Jack went over to the reef. It was lock and load porgy fishing. It's good to see the fish bounce back after that heave shut it down. Guys had 40 porgies, all real good quality size porgies too, not the small ones, real nice size fish. A bunch of small sea bass, managed 3 keeper sea bass and 2 nice jumbo triggerfish. It's good to see that. Like I said, that heave shut it down, so it was a nice bounce back. Other than that, that's really it. Oh, actually, my buddy Paul was out. He mentioned that they had a nice fluke in the bay, and also Jimmy was out with the Lady Marine. They had a nice fluke, so still a couple fluke there in the bay, knowing that the season's closed now, but it's pretty cool. That was the last day of fluke season. The guys had those. But other than that, that's my report. Waiting for the blackfish opening, and that's it. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Now let's check in with Chris Ludwig.
Thank you, Tim. What's going on, guys? I actually just got back to the dock with my buddy Joey from Frankie James Charters.
What's up, Tim? How you doing, buddy?
All right, so this week's report. I started off Sunday morning. I had one very large sand tiger on the open surf. Just as the sun cracked, I got picked up on a half bunker. It's pretty cool. The other one, he just spit it out. I couldn't set up on him. Moving forward in the week, we just got back from the Atlantic Beach Bridge. We bucktailed a few schoolies. We're using fat cow strips and various bucktails. My buddy Joey's breaking in a new dye was set up, so it worked out very, very well. We're happy to hear that. And I had this lure I got from the Fisherman magazine show. I'm really not sure what it was, and I'm hating that I don't remember it.
It was a nice one, that's for sure.
We banged out about 4 schoolie bass on some dock lights, and then I got a bigger one on another dock on this lure here. It's the DOA Terrorized, the 1/4 ounce. But this guy did the job. That was a nicer fish, too. So that was really it for me. Unfortunately, that lure that I spoke of got broken off by a big bluefish, but that's always cool to see, you know, so can't be too upset about it. It was a good week of fishing. I hope next week's just as good. All right, Joey, that's about it for me.
Take care, Timmy. Talk to you soon, brother.
From the North Shore, we have Captain Mark McGowan.
Hey, there's lots to talk about in this week's report, so let's get moving. Special thanks goes out to Brendan Murphy for bringing in this nice fluke. He and his dad were out bucktailing, working it hard, and then, you know, when you put your time in, you get it. Great way to round out the season, Brendan. Congratulations. You know, as far as local fishing goes, it's still red hot. You've got sea bass, you've got small bluefish, up to like maybe 4 or 5 pounds I've seen. There was one exception, like up in the mid-teens, which I thought the bluefish was lost. Anyway, you know, there's still porgies out there. I want to thank Keaton for giving us her pictures. She went out with her dad, Matt, and they're locals. They like to work our areas that we generally report about, and the beautiful fish. Hey, thank you, Keaton, and thanks, Matt, for taking out your kids and keeping them well into fishing. Now, if you're looking for albies, they've really been concentrated more or less towards the east for us. They have been very erratic as far as popping up at 11B or closer down towards the Coast Guard station out by the platform. They were popping up off the beach about several hundred yards several times this week, right off the Nessequag River. So that's great for surf casters or guys for flats boats or some type of boat. It's just, you got to get down there. Now, as far as bluefish or striped bass go, I've seen a lot of smaller bass, like up to 28 inches, move to the back of the harbors this week. They're really pushing on these small baits. There's a lot of peanut bunker, and the fish are very targeted on these peanut bunker. And so watch it. If you're going to go in the evening, work those lights. If you're going to go in the morning, try to be around the structure area. Either way, it's fishing, it's red hot, the docks are great, the snappers are still holding strong.
Let's hear it for Hawaiian Dan. Aloha.
Thanks, Tim. All right, everybody, let's have some fun. Say it with me now. Aloha! I'm Hawaiian Dan of TalkFishTV.com, reporting for the Fisherman magazine, where I've got to tell you, fall is off to a great start. There is plenty of fun to be had out here. Schoolie stripers are in town. They've been for about a month now. They're ranging anywhere between the 18 and 28 6-inch sizes. I haven't caught my keeper yet, but I'm sure that they're out there. Just got to hit those spots. Blues are all over the place, tearing up the gear. Of course, the snappers still haven't left, but there's plenty of reasons to get off those couches, grab those rods, and get out there and have some fun. It is going to be an excellent, excellent fall season. Things will continue to pick up and improve as the weeks go along. So until next week, this is your favorite man, Hawaiian Dan, reminding you to spread as much aloha as you possibly can. And no matter where you live in the world, you can choose to live that island life. Aloha.
Guess who's back? Peter Tarnowski.
Thanks, Tim. It's definitely good to be back, but just because I haven't been making videos doesn't mean I haven't been doing some fishing. Been doing a lot of fishing, most of it in the back bays. The back bays have been great, especially about an hour before sunrise. I would get out there and then fish right into sunrise, and then things would die down again as the sun was up there, and sometimes the blues would start coming in at that time. But in that hour before the sunrise, The bite was pretty strong. A lot of schoolies in the back bay still, but nice size schoolies, 24 to 26 inches. Fat too. You can see the bellies bulging there. Also, I've been hitting them all on swim shad, and it would change. Sometimes the larger swim shad would be better, sometimes the smaller one. And as far as the tides go, it was more based on the times, but a little closer to the bottom of the tide on the outgoing was better. But still, every morning before sunrise has been producing a lot. Thanks. Back to you, Tim.
Kenny Cannon has this to report from the North Shore.
Thanks, Tim. The report out of Northport, Ashrogan and Eaton's Neck's been kind of slow. I mean, there's bait everywhere, but there's just no predator fish under them at all. I was out of Montauk this weekend on Saturday, and a lot of fish on the south side, a lot of schooling fish, but it wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. There was a lot of schooling fish that were way out of the surf caster's reach. The boats were banging them away, though, and I went over to Napeague Harbor. There was some fish over there, but again, out of our reach. So it's been slow around here, and the bait is here, though. So once the predators come in, it should start picking up pretty quickly. It was about the second week of October last year when I started to really hit them here in where I am now in Northport Bay and this whole entire area. So hopefully by next week, the predator fish start attacking some of this bait. There's plenty of it here, so as soon as they come, should be good. Back to you, Tim.
Our surf report is from senior editor Fred Golofaro.
Hey, Tim. Yeah, that one-day heat wave is behind us, thank God. And now we're into some real fall-like weather, east-northeast winds and cool temperatures. And it looks like the long-range forecast is going to hold true for quite a while now. That's a good thing. The fall run is definitely on. Getting reports of quite a few, in fact, lots of school bass spread along the sand beaches from Montauk all the way to Breezy Point, for that matter. They're also on the north side of Montauk, and there's bluefish mixed with them in many areas. Small bluefish, anywhere from a pound to 4 or 5 pounds. Around the inlets, there's some albies, and just a lot of good action, a lot of bait around. So really, definitely into the fall run mode now. Some bigger fish showing up also now, mixing in with the small schoolies and the shorts. 47-pounder caught in Montauk on the weekend on the sand beach. That was weighted Paulies. There was also a 30-plus pounder caught on the sand beach out there. And I know of other fish in the teens to mid-20s that were caught between Montauk and Napeague and Amagansett. Also some fish in the 20s caught along the Fire Island communities. So things really shaping up nicely. And how about this one? Jersey Greg was fishing the sand beach Wednesday morning in Montauk, and he came across a huge Cabera snapper that, if it was still intact, was probably over 60 pounds by the looks of what was left of it. And it was bitten in half, cleanly in half, and it looked like it had just happened. The eyes looked like the fish could have still been alive. So very interesting what's going on out there and some of these odd species showing up and what's been eating them. So pretty crazy stuff. It also goes to show you that, that big fish that you hook and lose isn't always the biggest striper in the world. You never know what's on the end of your line. So I'm sure if anybody hooked that Cabera snapper, they'd be cursing themselves for losing a trophy striper. There's fish along Bridgehampton, kind of tight lines. He knew of bass to 35 inches caught along the sand there. Smith Point and Fins, a lot of action along there since the weekend and into the week. Bob Danielson had a bunch on Sunday evening, catching fish right through into the night, into the darkness. Wednesday a.m., Mike Curley and his brother-in-law, they had between 40 and 50 small blues, 1 to 4 pounds, and bass mixed with them. School bass, but he said they weren't the tiny schoolies, tiny shorts. He said they're better quality schoolies up in that 26, 27-inch range. So that's a good sign. Even more important, he said some of the fish are spitting up sand eels. So that's the first report I've had of sand eels along the sand beach, along with everything else. There's plenty of peanut bunker. There's been mullet. There's been snappers along the beach. White bait, bay anchovies. So a lot of life, a lot of things going on, and all a really good sign. Up on the North Shore, Brian Spreckles, he's been getting into a lot of schoolies up in that Huntington, Northport area, and he's been throwing swim shads, doing really well, dawn, dusk, and at night. So, like I said, the fall run is on. get out there, take advantage of it, because winter's going to be here before we know it.
With another surf report, we have Matt Broderick.
Thanks, Tim. This week we saw some good action on the sand beaches on the south shore of Long Island. Montauk had a good run of fish. Some day blitzes going on again. I heard of some bigger fish out there as well. On the south shore, it's been mainly schoolies with a pick of some keepers in the mix too. I heard rumor that there's some sand eels around as well, so it'd be a good idea to throw some diamond jigs or maybe some needlefish in your bag. A lot of fish being caught on bucktails right now. Swimming plugs, SP minnows, mag darters are a good bet also. Any of the South Shore beaches, give them a go, get out there, get some fishing done this week too.
We have a long distance report from Dave Yagerman down in Florida.
Thank you, Tim. Dave Yagerman, Salty Fly Rodders. I'm here with my buddy Mitch. We're down in Stuart, Florida, fly fishing with Captain Michael Morey. We had a good night last night, actually. Snook under the lights, some jacks, and we're out here a little offshore today. You can see, actually, we're not that far offshore, but we're going to be going after maybe some mahi, looking for some big albies. Right now we're just over a wreck and we're spotting up some bait, and hopefully it'll be game on in a little while.
If you'd like to be part of our weekly video fishing forecasts, we're looking for social media savvy anglers for hyperlocal reporting from around the New York metro and Long Island area. So if you're a captain, a tackle shop, or just an avid angler, contact me at libayrat@gmail.com. Remember, like our video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and tap on the bell to be notified instantly when we post a video on YouTube. And of course, be a subscriber to the Fisherman magazine to be part of the Dream Boat contest, like Frank DeFede here of Bellport with a 15.54-pound fluke. That puts him on top in the fluke category. He caught this monster in Montauk, and now he's in the running for a brand new Steiger craft. Until next week, this is Tim C. Smith for thefisherman.com. Win the incredible Steiger craft, Evinrude Lowrance Grand Prize Boat Package, and more in the Fisherman's 2019 Dream Boat Fishing Challenge. Get the details now at thefisherman.com.